I want to tell you about a moment that happens to almost every woman with ADHD and that almost nobody talks about. You're in a meeting or a staff room or a conversation, someone says something casual, a throwaway comment, something so small that the other person has already forgotten it by the time they've walked out the door. And within 90 seconds, you're in a completely different emotional reality. In this video, I'm going to explain what's actually happening when it occurs, because it's not drama, it's not overreacting, and it's absolutely not a character flaw. It's your brain, and once you understand it, something shifts. I'm Eva Gutrup, stress and family therapist, ADHD author, and someone who has had more than a few 90-second storms of my own. So let's get into it. I remember a client, I call her Maria, who described this exact moment to me. She was a teacher. A colleague stopped by in the staff room, said something like, maybe try to keep the lesson a bit shorter next time. Smile, left. The door clicked shut, and in the next 90 seconds, Maria's brain had run the comment through about 6 different interpretations, each one slightly more damning than the last. She thinks I talk too much. She's probably annoyed. Maybe everyone is, and her pulse went up and her chest tightened. A specific kind of shame arrived, the kind that whispers, you've done it again. And that is the part that's equally disorienting. It passed. Just as suddenly as it came, the storm rolled on. She was left sitting in the staff room, slightly dazed, wondering how something that small could have cost her so much. Here's what's happening in her brain and in yours. The ADHD brain has two structures that are relevant here. The amygdala, your emotional alarm system, and then the prefrontal cortex, the part that's supposed to arrive afterwards and say, it's okay, this isn't actually a threat. In most brains, these two communicate quickly. The alarm fires and the rational response follows within a second or two, and the whole sequence happens so fast that you will barely notice it. In an ADHD brain, that connection lags, so the alarm fires and the rational response is late. So the emotion arrives in full color, at full volume, before anything that feels like logic has a chance to show up. And dopamine is involved too. When dopamine dips, which happens unpredictably in ADHD, emotions feel heavier, more loaded, more permanent. When it's higher, the same situations feel manageable. This is why identical comments from identical people can land completely different on different days. It's not inconsistency, it's chemistry. So I want to come back to something in a moment, a concept called emotional time travel that I think might be one of the most useful things I can offer you in this video. But first, I need to explain why the emotions don't just arrive fast, they also come back. Here's something that happens specifically in ADHD brains that most people don't know has a name. Weeks after the staff room comment, Maria found herself replaying it, not thinking about it, re-experiencing it. Heart rate up, breath shallow, the flush returning to her face as if it were happening right now. You know that feeling, don't you? When something that happened a month ago or years ago suddenly arrives in your body as if it were today. This is because the ADHD brain doesn't reliably file experiences as past. A smell, a phrase, a tone of voice, and the old file opens vivid, present, and immediate. Maria started calling this out loud to herself. That's not today's weather. When she felt an old storm returning, she mentally closed the page on the day it belonged to. Not suppressing the feeling, just reminding herself, this one isn't from now. That's the practice. And it works, not because it eliminates the feelings, but because naming it creates enough distance to stop it from taking over the whole day. That's one more thing I need to name. Because for many women with ADHD, it's the part that does the most damage over time. The emotions don't just arrive fast. For a lot of people, they also arrive with a story attached. A forgotten appointment becomes, I'm unreliable. A stumbled sentence becomes, I always do this. And a moment of overwhelm becomes, there's something fundamentally wrong with me. This is a shame spiral. And ADHD didn't create it, but years of being misunderstood, told you were too sensitive, told you were too much. That created it. The emotions were always there. The shame came from the world's response to them. So the way through it, and I want to be honest, that is the work. It doesn't happen overnight. That is to start separating the feeling from the identity. The feeling is the weather, it passes. It doesn't tell you who you are. So what do you actually do in the moment when the storm arrives? 3 things that research and clinical experience both support. So first, name it. Out loud if you can, or silently. I'm not upset. Something more specific like, my amygdala just fired and my prefrontal cortex hasn't caught up yet. I know that sounds clinical, but naming the mechanism rather than the emotion creates an immediate distance between you and that. Second, breathe out longer than you breathe in. In for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That ratio sends a signal through the vagus nerve, your body's built-in calming system, that the threat has passed. You cannot think your way out of an emotional surge, but you can breathe your way through it. And third, remind yourself, this is weather, not who I am. The storm is passing, always pass it. Remember Maria sitting in the staff room 90 seconds after a throwaway comment, wondering how something so small would cost so much. She didn't stop having intense emotions. She stopped believing they defined her. And that, more than any system or strategy I could offer, is what changed everything. Your emotions move fast because you feel deeply. That's not your weakness, it's your depth showing. Before you go, I want to ask you one thing. What's the comment or the moment that still replays for you sometimes, even though you know it shouldn't? You don't have to share details, but if you experienced emotional time travel, tell me in the comments. I read every single one of them. If this resonated, subscribe, because next week we're going into focus. Why ADHD makes it impossible to start the thing you actually want to do, even when you really want to do it. And if what I talked about in this video makes sense to you and you want to explore a deeper dive on this, I suggest you start by reading The Adult ADHD Brain Explained. It's an easy read that blends stories. You will meet Maria again, alongside others managing everyday life from an ADHD perspective. All is backed by science, and you'll get simple experiments you can try out yourself. This will help you see your brain as an ally, not a problem to solve. I'm Eva. See you again.